What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now, for all of my American viewers watching right now, I hope you had an amazing 4th of July. It looked like it was a lot of fun looking on social media and stuff, and I know a lot of you enjoyed yourselves, but someone who definitely didn't is this lady in today's first Entitled Parent story, having to deal with her husband's, quite frankly, horrible mother. Let's get into the story. Happy 4th of July to you too, you selfish female dog. My husband's entitled mum is absolutely notorious for doing these things in this order. 1. Constantly criticize and guilt trip us about not visiting enough. 2. Ask her to appear at her house on a certain day. 3. We call and text that day before leaving our house to confirm arrangements. She says yes. 4. We drive the hour to her house. 5. We arrive and she is not there. Yes, at the appointed time. 6. We are expected to wait for her to get home. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes she never comes back at all. 7. During this interlude in passive-aggressive hell, sometimes she responds to us on her cell phone. Often though, she doesn't. And my husband wastes half his day waiting in her empty house. 8. Sometimes she eventually comes back. Sometimes she does not. After experiencing this a few times with my husband, I now give her 20 minutes, then we leave. 9. Several hours later, when she finally arrives home and doesn't see us patiently waiting, she starts texting angrily about "Why weren't you there?" and "Why didn't you call me?" We were there, we did call her. And then finally, number 10, she sends passive-aggressive texts for the next 4 to 10 days, absolutely infuriated that we didn't spend all day waiting for her. There is a variation of this where she says she's coming to my house. It's usually her idea because, duh, I know she's about as reliable as a dead cat. In that version, we clear one of my husband's days off for her. We miss out on other things we'd rather do. We cook food to feed her dinner, we clean the house and stress all day instead of relaxing, and then she either doesn't show up at all, cancels just before she was supposed to arrive, or sends a string of texts and calls, lots of texts and calls, about how her life is hard, and she's busy doing things, and okay, she guesses she's not coming. She does this on my son's and husband's birthdays. She does it at the holidays. She does it on summer weekends where we all could have been doing something else. So okay, I guess I'm partly to blame for what happened yesterday, July 4th, because I know what she's like, and in all the busy of the weekend of the 4th, we made it to fireworks, a barbecue, and 2 different birthday parties in 2 days. I forgot to have a backup plan in case Grandma bailed on our plans. More fool me. To fit her into our crammed weekend, we cut out some much needed quiet family time and naps at our house before we went to the fireworks at 10. We've been planning this with her all week. My husband had texted to confirm before leaving our house, which again is an hour away, and she had said yes. We arrive and guess what? The dog isn't there. She decided to go out on her boat instead. It was 90 plus degrees, 6 p.m, and we've got 4 hours to kill before fireworks. We can't wait in the heat, and I'm not gonna wait all day in her house with my son, who is being blown off by Grandma yet again, and who didn't get a 4th at all last year because COVID. We don't have enough gas or gas money to drive home, sleep till fireworks time, and drive back. So I took him swimming. I had to buy shorts for both of us to swim in because we had on nice new clothes for Grandma's dinner she was supposedly having us over for. Thank God Walmart is cheap. It was too hot not to swim. So we're splashing around and actually having a great time. And about 3 hours later, the frantic texts and calls began. She is furious because "Why didn't you call me?" and "Why didn't you answer my texts?" and "Are you coming over to eat or not?" I made my husband turn his phone off, and we ate McDonald's for dinner and went to a completely different spot to watch fireworks than we usually do. It was on the river, and the sunset over the water was absolutely beautiful, and we had tons of fun giving each other silly internet quizzes. Great memories for my son, and that's what really matters, not his super selfish grandma. Look guys, I'll be honest, I'm not the most organized person ever. I'm often quite late for things that I need to be on time for, that I said I'd be at a certain time, But even me in my unorganized state, I'm not as bad as this grandma. I mean, one thing I would never do is invite people over to my house and then not be there at the time that I've said for them to come over, and then be hours and hours late to your own house. How is that even possible? If you're inviting people over to your own gaff and you're not there, how is that possible? I don't get that. I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. Now moving on to our second story. Now this title, guys, might be one of the most shocking I've ever seen. Entitled Mother Thinks She Can Cure Stuttering by Hitting a Baby in the Mouth. Now just quick heads up, no baby gets harmed in this story. It's just an entitled mum suggesting a tactic, but still, what sort of title is that? This did not directly happen to me. It was my mother talking to my sister. Then my sister told me about it afterwards. Little backstory. When I was a kid, I had a pretty bad stutter. Even nowadays, some big words can trip me up if I'm very excited or anxious. But my speech is pretty good now. Good enough to earn a bachelor's in communications, I suppose. Anyways, I also have a wonderful stepmother whom I love, and she always goes out of her way to help me with everything. When I entered 6th grade, stepmom and dad organised to enroll me in a speech class in my school that would really help me to be rid of my stutter. And after about a year, my speech was much improved. My own mother, however, is definitely the jealous type, and to say the least, didn't take kindly to my stepmom helping me where she couldn't or wouldn't. Recently, my niece has been developing a stutter at a young age, and my sister decided to talk to our mum about it. Here is that convo. Hey mum, my daughter's developed a bad stutter. It's getting a little worse actually over the past few weeks. Well, take a clean dish rag, wet it, and pop it across her mouth like a slingshot. That's what your grandma did to OP, and your great-grandma did to her. I noticed the stutter on Sunday. No, my brother had a speech therapist at his elementary school. No, your grandma popped him in the mouth with a wet towel. What? I'm not popping her. No, my brother had a speech therapist in school to work with him weekly, then it went away. No, I'm the mother. I'm telling you what my mother did. She caught OP and your uncle off guard and popped them in the mouth. Oh, what? Never mind, mum. I'm a mother too. I was just saying that I am your brother's mum, and I know what my mum did. His school did not cure him, my mum did. Try it. Okay, mum. Obviously, my sister did not try that, and obviously, our mum is lying about our grandma hitting me. Our grandma was the most loving and kind individual to all her grandkids. Obviously, I can't speak for her tactics in raising my mum and aunts and uncles on the account of not being alive yet, but I can assure you that she never punched me in the mouth. It's actually impossible for my grandma to have attempted that when I was so young, because she passed away when I was 10 years old, and my stutter wasn't addressed until 6th grade, when I would have been around 11 or 12. My sister also texted our stepmom after that too, and immediately our stepmom reached out to an actual speech therapist who then contacted my sister with advice and to set up an appointment. I think it's obvious who we turn to whenever we need any help or advice in future. Yeah, I wonder who you're gonna go with. Your weird mum who's telling you to literally hit your kid, or an actual speech therapist whose job it is to, do speech therapy. Tough decision. Seriously, popping someone in the mouth. Like what? As in like getting a towel or something and then flicking it at them. What is that going to do apart from just, cut their lip? So weird. Again, I can actually relate to this story a little bit. I had a lisp when I was younger and I went through speech therapy and now I speak unbelievably well. I think you'd agree. I speak decently. But still, I can tell you that speech therapy legit works. I can't tell you, to be fair, if getting hit in the mouth works or not. Never tried it myself. Fortunately, it was never tried on me by my mum or grandma. But hey, give it a go. Come back to me. Maybe it's a cheap way of fixing a crazy problem. I really doubt it though. And now moving on to our final story of today's episode. I'm too old to have plushies. Right then, let me explain what happened. So, I was currently out at a friend's house, and my mum was hanging out with some of her friends at home. One of them needed to use the bathroom. And since the one on their floor was in use, my mum said she could use the one upstairs, which would have been fine if she hadn't then decided to start checking people's rooms out on the way. The rooms upstairs are my parents' room, my bathroom, my dad's gaming room, my study room, I mostly just use it for online school, and my bedroom. She went into my room, and I assume the first thing she saw was my Monokuma plush on my bed. He's my favourite plushie, by the way. She then finally comes back downstairs. With Monokuma in hand, asking why her son owns this. My mum tells her that it's actually mine. Her friend gets upset, thinking because I'm 16 that I don't need a teddy bear anymore. Yeah, that's funny, considering I got Monokuma for my 16th birthday. Anyways, so my mum tried to take Monokuma back from her friend, and the other friends told her that it's not her kid and she should just leave it be. But this dog had the audacity to make my mum watch as she tried to throw Monokuma away. Luckily, my mum got it back before she could, and then forced her to leave the house. Moral of the story, don't try to raise other people's kids. You know what? I don't actually own any plushies of my own, but I definitely should. They're cool, and they're not like little teddy bears. They're just like nice decorations and things to have on your wall or whatever, you know, on your shelves. They look cool. Let me know, by the way, if I should get a plushie, which one should I get? And also, would you ever like to see a Redditor plushie? I know other YouTubers have released plushies and stuff, and they're very sick, and there are some cool companies that I could work with to make this happen. You know what? Comment down below, like the video. Do you want to see that happen? I could definitely make it happen, but only if you guys care enough. Let me know. I'd want to see it happen though. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't even have to be me. It could just be like a Karen or something. I could definitely make that happen. Let me know down below. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Let me know if you enjoy the stories. 3 great ones in my opinion, but hey, I could be completely wrong. They could have been terrible. Let me know in the comments. If you are new around here, please do subscribe to the channel up here for daily Reddit videos. And if you want to see more right away and you can't wait till tomorrow, check out this video on screen. I've picked it for you. So if you don't click it, you're kind of insulting me. Anyway, see you all tomorrow with a brand new one.